Hello, everyone. Welcome back to MAEC, powered by Game Gym and Events DC. My name is Fluffy here, and with me today I have Cherish. What's going on, my friend?
Not much. Ready to get into some League. Just hopping between Riot games this week. I am so. I'm looking forward to getting to see how this game is going to go on rather between Radford and Old Dominion University here.
It's going to be an absolute banger of a match. I'm excited to see. We have pick and ban already up, but we already see the Yumi Diana banned out from Radford. They don't want to see that. And meanwhile, on the other side, we have Corky and Draven. What are your thoughts so far on how the draft's panning out?
I think a couple of these are pretty, personal preference. Draven, Akali, Yasuo, and Corky really. I feel like everyone but Yumi is personal preference at this point, right? Like, these champions aren't known and aren't really being seen as prevalently as Worlds. Maybe Draven and Akali a little bit, but they're not, consistently heralded as very strong champions the way that Yumi, Misfortune, Hecarim are right now. Two of which we did see in this pick ban phase as Misfortune and Maokai, both really strong team fighting presences, get picked up in return from the Renata Glass first pick, which is a very interesting one.
Yeah, I like Renata Glass. She has a lot of disengage and engage options. Very strong in lane as well because of that range. But like you said, the really strong combo of Misfortune, one of the best AD carries right now in the meta, alongside with a Maokai pickup that could be easily flexed into the jungle or top or support role, depending on what you want to go for. But the Caitlyn Answer, also a champion that has been contested heavily at Worlds, if you have seen Worlds, and picked up as well with the Sejuani, one of the best junglers right now in this meta too.
Yeah, and I think we're leaning more towards the Sejuani jungle because, like you were saying, that Maokai can also flex to the top lane where he does have a favorable matchup into the Sejuani. She does really well right now into bruisers specifically, whereas she's not very good into AP champions as well as things like Maokai, who are going to do AP percent magic damage. So, things like Gwen and Kennen will do really well, even though Gwen's on the weaker side right now. Will do really well into her, whereas she's going to beat things like Aatrox, preventing Gnar as well. Both are prevalent power picks, but so far, I mean, the only thing we can really tell from both these teams is that there's a bottom lane set up, and then because of these flexes, we don't really know anything else. So it's going to make for an interesting couple of second bans here, as Sylas and it looks like Yone are the first target priorities here.
I do like the Sylas ban, especially when you have very strong ultimates like Glass's ultimate and Sejuani. You don't want to give those away to the enemy team for free, and it is a very strong champion when it comes to, again, taking those ultimates, those key ultimates from the side of Radford. Meanwhile, I do want to touch on the Maokai flex. It is mostly seen in the jungle role at the moment, so I'm thinking, again, if we're going by meta, which, I mean, it's never a good thing to go straight by meta, but Maokai should be going in the jungle role. Top lane could be flex, same with the Sejuani. I think Sejuani jungle as well is most likely. So, in my opinion, I think it's going to be, we're looking at top lane and mid lane to be left to be picked. And ODU does think that as well with these two bans. I'm guessing that Echo ban is going to be going targeting mid laner, same with the Yone.
Yeah, I'm a little sad at this Ornn ban from Radford. Ornn would work very, very well in their composition. It'll give them some reach that they don't have into Misfortune, who at this point, considering that you have Renata, Sejuani, Caitlyn, you don't really have a lot of movement forward. The Renata ult is going to do a lot of disrupting, but between the Maokai Brambles and or his ultimate rather, as well as the Monsoon ultimate from Janna, it's going to make things pretty easy for ODU to disengage from this one. ODU does not get a pick in here because they are getting a little laggy, but they are going for set here.
Okay.
So that as well. I mean, same deal. They are leaving up their fifth pick as a flex in a way, because it could be set top Maokai jungle, set mid Maokai jungle or top, something crazy like that. So they're really just giving Radford or forcing Radford's hand to show off what they want to show, and go for that.
And I do like Set picked into this because the ability to be able to grab a tank straight out from the ultimate, it will be pretty strong. I mean, when you grab a tank, a Set, and ultimate to the back line, it makes it really hard for the rest of the team to kind of coordinate, and it does a lot of damage too. So against tanks, I really like picking up Set personally.
Yeah.
And I believe we missed another pick here again. The lag looks like it's hitting both teams right now.
Yeah, Aatrox, Lissandra. Yeah,
Okay.
Aatrox, Lissandra are the two picks for Radford. So we're going to be seeing Aatrox, Sejuani, Lissandra, Caitlyn, Renata in that order from Radford. A very strong mid-game fighting team that is going to drop off towards the later end. As we will also wait and see what ODU wants to finish things out with, as they are eyeballing this one. Just waiting for whatever they say in chat, inevitably. But yeah, Aatrox. Oh, okay. There's Aatrox, as Set is being hovered, at least for ODU now. But that is going to leave up, like we said, a mid or top flex here.
Yeah, definitely could be either or. Mid lane picks that are still available. Azir, still strong in the meta right now to pick up. Doesn't do that bad against Lissandra as well.
Azir would fit really well here as well.
Ooh, but it's going to be Orianna, it looks like.
Yeah, I liked the idea of Talia. I liked Orianna, or I liked Azir and Talia. Orianna kind of fits in the same idea of Talia, where it's this zone control more than really just like it's the control mage style of zone. Yeah, like a zone control, and you're working more for area denial because you don't want to walk into either the super slow from the ball or even the shockwave. So there's a lot of area control coming out from ODU's comp, which is going to really disrupt Radford, who really wants to play around a lot of trap lines. And if Radford can't get rolling in this early game, I genuinely think their comp just falls flat if they can't get going early on with heavy leads.
And I agree. I mean, Aatrox, very, proactive top laner. We've seen him be very oppressive internationally so far, and strong in the meta, especially when you build Eclipse on him with that Omnivamp. It's kind of borderline broken with the amount of healing you kind of produce with this champion. But
Yeah.
the more I look at it, ODU's comp you can see what they're going for, especially with the ball delivery. They have the Set. They have also Maokai for that ball delivery.
Yeah, there is a good amount of ball delivery, like you said. Really going to help out the Orianna, who's not seen as much of a presence lately in the meta. She's seen some growth upwards, but other than that, not really all that much. It's her position has been taken over by Azir, really, as kind of the de facto control mage. And even then, Azir's not really played that much as a control mage. He's just a standard dive, or he's not a standard. He's just a dive mage at this point, really working between that stand aside his ultimate. So it is Maokai jungle, though. Not anything goofy there with like Set jungle messing up. But Set Aatrox is going to be a very volatile lane because Set can get into Aatrox's ranges where he doesn't want Set to be. Aatrox really likes this kind of mid-range fighting and keeping his distance, but obviously Set just likes to jump on in and brawl with you as close as he can get. So Unique is going to have to be focused on pushing away this Set and keeping him at bay throughout this lane, or else things can get really sideways and really send the comp overboard for Radford, or ODU's favor, excuse me.
ODU. Personally, I think that the best 1v1 champion level 1 and even 2, in my opinion, is Set. I used to play top lane way back when, and it was disgusting the amount of damage you can put down with just your Q, or even starting your W and just getting that grit stack just so you can pop them. It's again early levels. I do favor the Set, especially in these trades, but the later the game goes, once that Aatrox starts picking up the items like the Eclipse, it should be starting to swing for that Aatrox, especially past 6. I think 6 is really when he really wants to try and pressure his lead. But we're gonna have to see and see where the junglers are gonna be pathing towards and see where they want to focus. Because even though you want to try and save this Aatrox from these early aggressive, the early aggression that Sett can provide, you also want to try and get your bot lane ahead because you did pick a Caitlyn, you did pick the Glask, so you want to get this lane rolling.
Yeah, you really do, especially given how strong and how much of a lane bully Caitlyn is. The Janna is going to provide a little bit more safety for Misfortune, but still, it's going to be very much that they have to play back since they can't pressure out the Caitlyn. The Misfortune and Janna are going to have to play back a good bit and really just play at the Caitlyn's tempo. Usually that's how Caitlyn lanes go when you're not challenging the Caitlyn with another ADC pick. But I guess the silver lining for ODU is that they went Renata instead of something like a Lux, as Kate Lux has kind of been the de facto, really just the lane dominant. Yeah, they are just the de facto duo at this point of just being that strong together. So Renata is going to pull back a little bit because she can't poke as reliably and as easily as a Lux can. So we'll look forward to that. But I think the last point I wanted to hit on really too was this jungle matchup. It's going to be a lot easier in some of these lanes for the Sejuani to be making it work, because even if they're short range, Aatrox has a dash, Caitlyn has a dash out, Renata has a lot of safety, Lissandra obviously has the claw, whereas Misfortune has really nothing past her move speed, Janna has just a single tornado, Orianna has move speed, Sett has move speed, and I guess he's going to fight back. Plus, Sejuani can just extend or engage at a longer range than Maokai. So, pre-6, I'm looking forward to seeing what Luki can do on Sejuani here, because they can really turn this game in Radford's favor purely off of how active they are on the map before the Maokai can get really active.
And one thing I do want to point on real quick is the fact we forgot to mention the icy power buff. He is playing Lissandra, and he's playing with the Sejuani jungle. How much does that factor into the win?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the Freljord... It is a bit of a name diff getting icy, one of like the 3 lore queens of the Freljord or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, all told, Icy's gonna have to really power up off this Lissandra, because she doesn't carry well with items. She doesn't have the highest ratios, and she's more of a utility mage more than a true just burst carry, because even if she's not as strong, the Orianna can at least act in a way like that burst carry, and she can at least do a good bit more damage than the Lissandra at the cost of Lissandra having more control and CC. So it's really going to be up to what Icy builds to see how much damage he's going to do, and if he's really going to relent to just Aatrox and Caitlyn are my carries, or can I help out adding some damage here?
Yeah, and one thing I do want to know as well with Lissandra is that bait ability that she has, especially with the self-ulti, the stopwatch. A lot of time control, I would say. It's because just you can stall for so long to get these carries to come and hit. But yeah, like you said, though, Lissandra not historically known for being a very strong champion, especially, in any stage of the game compared to Orianna, to be honest. And like you said as well, Orianna, even if she's behind, late game fights, that shockwave is a massive boon for ODU.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty big. Quick look around everything. I think a big thing is that Dishra on Sett has gone for teleport, whereas Unique on Aatrox is running Ignite. So that's a pretty big thing, because with Icy just having the teleport versus the double teleport on ODU's side, it's going to force ODU or rather, it's going to force Radford into um, really playing around how Rad ODU wants to work this double TP and this split push play. Um, and that's going to be pretty interesting. And also, very, very ill went Ghost on Caitlyn. Ghost has been a ADC summoner lately that a lot of people are taking, but that was back in the Sivir Zeri meta where you could just outspeed, like you could make up the range artificially with that Ghost. So I'm
And the resets.
intrigued as to why he's got Ghost on Caitlyn, but I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's just to try, like you said, most like we pointed out early in the draft. There's not much mobility in the side of ODU. They have those movement speed, but they don't have any dashes, as you were saying. So
Yeah.
maybe it's to try and either pressure hard, or I mean, if they try to engage on you, you can just walk away, run away. And the resets on the again, the changed Ghost with the resets when you get a kill, it just continuously keeps ticking. So in a late game, late late fight or extended fight situation, that Ghost can be a game changer. It looks like both junglers are going to be passing top side. What do you think on that?
Playing for this top side, like I said, it's going to be incredibly volatile with these two, especially with you running Ignite on Aatrox. I'm intrigued that Dishraw didn't try and set up anything for like a, just a cheese fight early on. Misses the early face breaker as well. So, like I said, very intrigued that he didn't go for that because usually that's what we see sets do. They'll just sit in the front bush or the middle bush early on and then just sprint at you as fast as they can and try and force you into this very early fight. So lane control is going to be very even up top until 2. And I think with whatever Dishraw skills up, he does go for the W. So that's going to let him win the trade. If he did go Q, I think he just loses out on that trade. But yeah, I just think pathing up top lane is going to be the key in this one because bot lane, they're not going to be able to fight very often against the Caitlyn. And it's going to be tough going down there.
I agree. Now, one thing I do want to say, though, personally, I don't agree with leveling your W second, your shield, because it is such a long cooldown that, yes, you can survive a little bit and get a nice trade off every so often, but it's like an 18-second cooldown level 1. It can be easily punished if played correctly, but we are looking at potentially a gank here. Maokai coming in from the side. Aatrox dashes aggressively. There is no dash on him anymore. He does have flash, though. They haven't used anything. The Facebreaker misses. Disaster, but the root does come through. The flash is expended. The slow's coming through, but Sejuani is in the wing. She's trying to get in. She gets her Arctic Assault off. They are going on the set. The set's trying to get a W off. He has it. He gets a pop on. This Aatrox is so low, but the Sandra's there answering first. First blood goes to Liku on the Sejuani. And that's going to be the end of the play. Really good rotations by Icy. It's going to be the Ice Stiff.
It might as well be at this point. Really good double buff exchange there to get them reset onto Luki and continue going there. Really just... I don't like to, rag on players, and I'm not going to put more past this, but just a bad Facebreaker miss. There's no ways about that. You can't miss that Facebreaker, and because of that, that doesn't pull the Aatrox back, that doesn't get a stun, and what looked like it should have been an easy kill, burning Unique's flash early, or rather the dash early, is wasted, and it loses basting an early buffs, and that's just going to create a lot of tempo here for Radford to go forward and really just continue to pressure basting.
Yeah, it looks like basting's trying to greed for the Skull Crab. He's going just like Crabber, and it is a complete disaster. That's the second kill. This one going over to Icy. And I'm not exactly sure why he was going for the topside crab. He knew that they were still there, and he has no prio.
Yeah, bottom camps are up. Bottom crab is up. Kind of have everything down there, and he still decided he wanted to scrap with the Sejuani yet again for that top crab. Excuse me. So because of that, Icy's going to get a little bit more gold in their pocket, picking up the kill with that one, as now Luki gets a double crab. Granted, in the past, because of earlier season changes, early crabs aren't as, game flipping meaningfully or game flippingly meaningful, but they are still impactful enough that you don't want to lose both crabs for nothing, much less for your life. So it's going to be tough going in this early game for Basting here, as he's down a good chunk of XP and no buffs to speak of.
Yeah, not exactly what the start you want to look for, especially on an early, a potentially good early game jungler like Maokai that you can kind of scale, but you can't scale up. Good trade from Dishraw. He got the final charged up W for that and took quite a bit off. Now that's Ignite is coming up soon because Ignite is a summoner that is very low cooldown, so there could be a potential for a Reef engage fight there, but I think Basting kind of senses it and he's kind of hovering in the top side here.
hmm I mean, back on summoner spells though, I'm still just so intrigued that Dishraw playing into Aatrox as set is the one that took teleport. Like
That is true.
again, like Aatrox is just, or rather, set is
Oh,
just the bully melee, and Aatrox is the healer. Like this is big for Dishraw here as he's going for the
ooh.
ult.
Gets the ult off, but the Aatrox is still only level 5. He is going down really low. The
Oh,
flash is expanded, but he's not able to get the last auto. It's a complete disaster. Luki picks up another kill, and that is now 3-0. But meanwhile, on the bot side, we are looking at a little bit of a trade. Janna does take quite a bit of damage and is just going to back off and pop some pots.
oh. The Umbral Dash gets the auto, or forces the auto cancel out of Dishraw, which just allows him, or allows Unique to live just that little second longer for the backup to come in. And I think a huge part of this early game has been how well Icy has been maneuvering around the map. 3 kills on the side of Radford, 3 kill participation so far for Icy and Lukey. They are both all over this top side, maneuvering together, roaming very well together. So it's been a very good job between the two, the jungler and the mid laner. Like you said, that ice buff, that Freljord buff is working out well, regardless of what it is.
Yeah, dude, the ice buff is well in effect. And one thing I do want to note is that even though he's been the first one to roam, and even though he's been the one in all these fights, he hasn't dropped CS. He's stayed up with it.
hmm
Another quick little trade, and it's just going to be that. But Dragon has been started by Luki, I think, or he just wants the crab and maybe go for a dragon later. No.
yeah, very, very ill on the
Oh,
Caitlyn. Did get a back off where Frogs did not,
Icy
as
looking for
Icy
the
back in the mid
ulti.
lane.
They are going to get the double ult onto the Orianna. She does have flash. She's able to
Ooh.
escape with the shockwave. Nice job escaping that gank. 2 ults and a flash burnt. So it's going to be sort of even, but that is a potential re-gank angle. Janna's not in a good spot in the bot side, but meanwhile on the top side fight, we are going to be looking at a lot of vitals being hit up onto the Aatrox. Aatrox is going to dodge out on the big damage there. He does have his ulti. Both ultis are betrayed, but this is an extended fight. It is going to favor the Aatrox. Does his cooldowns allow him to get another Q off? It misses for the knockup. Gets the flash off, but the auto is going to be enough. Unique picks up a solo kill onto Dishraw. And Dragon goes over. It looks like the fights just keep on going. A flash burnt from the Caitlyn. She is just able to walk away from the MF ult, and it's a complete disaster for ODU.
Yeah, ODU losing across the map at this point. Dishraw with another little whoopsie, but rather than a misplay this time, it was a good play from Unique to dash forward aggressively through the face break, or through the haymaker, excuse me, as he did dodge out from what would have been a fully charged haymaker, which is probably at this point like 400 true damage or something like that. Um, and I think another thing to note, you mentioned that the Janna was in a tough spot before. She instantly flashed over that wall when Luki was coming on down for the dragons. So Sixer without that summoner spell, it's going to be, again, a little harder because the dive is going to, or a little harder to get onto this back line where Sixer on this Janna is going to be outside of Icy doing any diving forward. But um, otherwise, I mean, all status quo in the bot lane. They're even in CS. The Misfortune has actually gone for a Dirk early on to help
Mm.
pressure out this Caitlyn pick. So very interesting. We see it a lot on Lucian lately, as well as Draven. They like to build this Dirk to give them a lot of early pressure. So I'm very interested to see what Frogs is going to do with that because this is again a very tanky uh, Radford team, and going collector into it is going to be a little whoopsie.
Oh, and Dishraw is going to take another bad trade. Does 300 damage on the haymaker, but it's not enough to do anything because he did jock it out. The ignite's going to be dropped, and that for sure is going to be him going down. But waits that passive? No, it's definitely him going down. But the LT is popped on Aatrox. The World Ender is active, and is he going to live? No, the Bass thing. Maokai, completely balanced champion, able to heal up, and he's still alive somehow. Finally goes down to Icy, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, or actually 2-for-1. My bad. The set did die in that extended fight, so
Hmm.
still favoring, well, not favoring ODU.
Yeah, ODU at least gets their first kill back, but still 2,500 gold behind is going to be tough going here off the early game plays. Uh, it looks like Redford's going to leave that ward up, even though Lukey did see it through the sweeper, but he can come back for it. So, going to prioritize going for the camp over that. But first
Oh,
items finishing on up right now. Uh, we've got Iceborne Gauntlet already somehow for basting. Very interesting. I think it's because he got a shutdown onto Unique. I'm not fully sure on that one yet, but he is the first mythic of this game because of a lot of boots priority on people like Very, Very Ill and Lukey. So looking forward to that. I'm very interested though because
oh.
he didn't opt into something like the usual build that we've been seeing where tanks are going other items,
Being
but I'll have to
engaged,
get to
it's
that
Renata
later.
Glass is going to be able to go on to the Janite. She gets pulled
Whew.
back, and an easy kill. Very, very ill picks it up.
Yeah, no flash again on Sixer. In the middle of my conversation with myself, they decided to interrupt me, but that's because I'm taking 9 years to explain this thing. But basically, neither jungler is going the usual build, which has been either it has been Bambi Cinder into something else, and
I'm
I'm
going
just
to have
not
to
going to
cut you
talk
off
about it.
again because it looks like definitely this time he is going to be able to go down. The shockwave was
I'm
good,
just not
but
going to
I
talk
see.
about it.
Holy. Unable. The teams do not want you to speak about the builds right now. They're like, okay, get enough with the builds. We're about all this action.
Yeah,
But it
they
just
really are about the action at this point. Icy is just so around the map and so mobile, and like you were saying earlier, he's not losing anything for it. He's matched 99 to 100 in CS, whereas he's 303, and Rex Happy is 011. So the Lissandra's working out fantastically for what Radford needs it to be.
And I do want to touch on one thing that we were talking about in Champion Select. I mean, I favored ODU's composition, but sometimes it doesn't really matter about the comp. It's about the hands behind the champions and about
Hmm.
comfort too. Champions that you are more okay with playing rather than just going for the straight meta stuff. So it's
Yeah,
kind of showing off right now that Icy is very much able to pick up this Lissandra and play it at a pretty decent level.
yeah. Like you said, comfort over meta. Even though Lissandra is like vaguely meta. She's used as a check more often than anything. And so we don't really see a lot of Lissandra priorities or a lot of Lissandra blind picks the way we saw Icy go for it. So good to show Icy's prowess on this champion and showing that they're very comfortable on that one as well. Looking like another dragon fight prepping on up. At least Basting is down here in the bottom lane to try and fight this one out as Rex Happy is not roamed down, getting more mid lane pressure than anything. But it's really looking like a scrap warming on up here as Enigmatic is on back. But I think that it looks like ODU is just going to give this Drake and try and fight later ones.
Yeah, I don't think you don't have Prio mid lane. You didn't have Prio top bot lane, so there's not really anybody that can rotate over, and they just gift it over. And that is a scary thing to see, though. Two Drakes on the side of Radshaw, Radford. My bad, my bad, Radford. So I mean that is gonna be a soul point potential win
Ooh.
con, and Flash burned by Dishraw. He did not want to be able to get hit by that pullback.
Yeah, trying to delay the back there. He did end up using the haymaker as a result, and because you don't have that fat shield that you would usually get with the haymaker, he has to flash away from the infernal chain of Unique. So little wasted summoner there as Unique's worked his way up to a level lead, and Lukey gonna help create or broaden that lead up a good bit with this Rift Herald being dropped up top lane. There's no plates to drop or to crack here, so it's just going to be the turret gold, but that should be first tower on the board.
And they're trying to look for potential dive. Meanwhile, on the bot side, I think they're going for the exact same plan. The twisted advance is going to be coming through, and it's going to be rooted onto the Glass, but not the
Wow.
target they want to go. He goes hard for the MF. Now, Glass W is active, so if she goes down, she will still be alive. She is dropping a lot of damage. They are surviving. They get a kill back on the Janna somehow. She was tanking tower, but finally Caitlyn goes down. The pullback goes through, and that's going to be basing, taking out Enigmatic Reaver. And it's
Mhm.
a messy dive, but it still worked out in the end.
Yeah, it works out. It was very well played, though, from Enigmatic Reverie and very, very ill to at least get one back onto Sixer there. They played, for two dead men with very little mana, they played that fight basically as well as I could see them playing it. So they did very well with that. In the meantime, Icy takes another tower for his team and Dishraw back at it up top.
I mean, he did a good job of dodging the vital points, and there goes the haymaker drop down. But that's going to be another engage potentially. Oh
Ooh.
my goodness, he messed up the flash Q combo. He does take way too much damage, but oh
Ooh.
my god, that damage is completely balanced from Unique. Able to pick up the kill on the solo buddy. For sure, he's going to go down. The blue smite is going to go through to slow him down, but it's not going to be enough. His team is there to back him up. They do get the stun onto basing, but they're not quite yet. The ulti on Sejuani is definitely going to seal the deal. Icy's there to catch up, and she gets that for Ross. She gets the ulti on to Rex happy, and for sure that's him going down. The Shockwave is going to be enough to dissuade. Aatrox is taking tower. Triple kill for Unique. He's able to get so much healing. This is disgusting. Quadra kill for Unique. Disgusting.
Wow.
No anti-heal being built, by the way, I want to note, on ODU just quite yet. And I think it's on all their minds that maybe it's time to invest that 800 gold.
Yeah. At the same time, by the way, that was even before the Eclipse was finished. That was just on Eclipse components that Unique pieced up all of ODU there. So playing very well as a surrender comes in from ODU very early on. They're going to give this one up and come in and just say, let's just go next and focus on the next one.
Yeah, I mean, they did not want any little bit of that Aatrox. Unique was disgusting on it. I think in the next game, we definitely want to see a potential pan from Aatrox. I'm not sure if we want to keep going on that. But yeah, kind of a stomp there, really, from Radford. But
yeah,
looks like we are going to take a little break before we get into game 2. Thank you guys so much for watching for now, and we'll see you guys back here in a bit. and welcome back, guys, to MAEC, powered by Game Gym and Events DC. We're in Game 2 of ODU and Radford. And Radford was able to pick up the win, 17-minute victory. It was due to forfeit, but still a 17-minute win for them. Aatrox was definitely something that was contested, and we're jumping straight into the Champs Luck with Corky banned away.
Yeah, Corky banned yet again from ODU. I'm sure then that means that Icy has played a lot of Corky. So Yumi on the return from Radford. Pretty good ban. Still, it is still pretty strong. It just happens that the 80 carries that it was being abused with a lot, namely Sivir Zeri, aren't as strong right now. They are still fairly there. They're just not the constant presence that either of them were. So we'll get to see no more Yumi at least. And I think that was always such a fun thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
Everyone understood Zeri was broken. Everyone understood Sivir was very strong. And instead of banning them both and forcing each other onto ADCs, they were kind of just like, yeah, one of us is just going to pick one and then you're going to pick the other. And
The
like, that
handshake.
was kind of just what everyone accepted.
Yep. And ODU says, you know what? Whatever you can do, I can do better. They throw down the gauntlet and pick the Aatrox up first rotation. I like to see that. And they did also ban away the Sejuani, but that leaves Maokai open. Now the question is, did Radford choose to go for the Maokai early rotation here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Maokai presents a similar opportunity into Aatrox. Not so much in the top lane. Aatrox will kind of ruin that matchup. But, in the later stages of the game, Aatrox doesn't really like getting CC'd. Aatrox doesn't like things in his face, and Aatrox doesn't really like tanks. Maokai is all three of those. So it will either force Dishwash or Dishway, Dishrag, Dishraw. There we go. We'll find it eventually. It would have forced Dishraw into opting into something like a Cyrilda's early on, which is suboptimal, or into Mercury Treads, but he probably will be going Mercury Treads anyway this game, as a Mordekaiser is second picked here for Radford, interestingly.
Yeah, they decided, you know what? Last time it was a fist fight, Set versus Aatrox. We're still going to have that fist fight. We're going to go Mordekaiser, Aatrox. And I do like Mordekaiser. I think he is really strong in a 5v5 setting just because of the objective control he gives you for your team. Jungler's doing Baron, guess what? He's no longer in the Baron pit. Dragon, guess what? He's no longer in the Dragon pit. And it does look like we are going to switch out the Misfortune Janna for Misfortune Lux. A little bit more CC. I do like that better than Janna pick, but I still think that it isn't as strong as it could have been with maybe a potential Amumu.
Yeah, especially with an Amumu plus the Aatrox, that enables the Aatrox a lot. That gives you a lot of reach onto what you should be anticipating to be that Caitlyn that Radford was running. So I'm sure inevitably it's not as practiced. I think Amumu in solo queue is a lot worse than Amumu in a pro setting.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit more to work him and get used to him, because your ADC has to do a lot more heavy lifting in the lane. Just because Amumu doesn't really do much in lane. He's purely like a post-14 team fighting champion. And he kind of just exists there, given that two of his spells don't really exist in a lane setting. But I'm interested as to the Lux pick, because, again, it would feel like a denial if anything other than the Renata was picked early on. Like, if Radford went Kate Mordekaiser, it would very much be a denial. But they went Renata Mordekaiser, and then you're picking Lux early, so it's kind of iffy to me. But on the serve back on these bans, Yon Yasuo taken out by Radford in return for Silas Lissandra, which leaves Hecarim up, interestingly, who's also seen a good chunk of presence at Worlds.
Yeah, a lot of bans coming out for the horse. One thing I do want to also mention was the fact that they picked Lux and Maokai was still up available, and both teams decided to just forego it. Nobody banned it, so I'm looking at ODU to potentially pick up this strong champion again. But maybe they decided to switch it up, and they do. They don't want to try on the Maokai again. They rather go on something like Comfort, which is going to be the Volibear, it looks like.
Yeah, so now we get to see as well if this Lux is going to be slotted in as a flex into the mid, or if it is just going to be put into the support's hands here for ODU. Maokai, like you said, is still on the board if something wacky wants to come up, but for the most part, nothing should happen, and instead it's a Galio. So,
no way! Oh
yeah,
my lord!
I like that. Okay,
Spicy.
I was sad about a Galio pick, but I was ready to comment about how Volibear Galio would be some budget version of Camille Galio, but instead it's an Annie. So that's very interesting because I have no clue where Annie places right now.
No,
I have no knowledge of this champion. I've not seen anyone play her. And on the reverse side of things, a Vex is picked up. So a lot of mid laners right now are going first strike Vex, which is very interesting. But I think you aren't able to go that here if you are Icy, because Annie has the matching longest range with Caitlyn, which is why she was seen a lot as a support early on, because she could readily auto attack poke champions. Like 80 carries couldn't even trade back with her from auto attack range. So first strike is going to be hard for Icy to proc on this Vex, but we'll have to see in 5 or 10 minutes when we get into the game. But yeah. Annie.
Very interesting pickup. I mean, and for me, they get the last pick on the mid lane. And I saw that they did go for a hover on the Azir and the Orianna, which the Azir I actually thought was a pretty good choice because it gives you that range, so you can forego that Annie poke. But they decided to go for the Vex, and there's only 2 champions she can really stack her passive on, which is the Aatrox and the Volibear. So it's gonna be very interesting how she's gonna maneuver around these fights. Early game, I don't see many Annies in my games. I'll be honest. I don't have a very good bearing on how good the champion is right now.
I get it.
But you know, maybe I think that in the early stages of the game and in laning phase, I think it still should favor the Annie just because Vex can't reliably stack her passive. Usually Vex is picked kind of like a Lissandra, like you said, like a counter pick. But we did see Icy pull out the Lissandra and do a really good job being proactive with it rather than more of the usual style of reactive. I do want to note, though, that the Lissandra did give him that ice buff, so I don't know how the Vex is going to do, you know?
Yeah. Like you were saying, Vex is usually a counter pick right now, and most often it's into a Sylas. That's where the first strike comes in, because you're able to poke out and get a good bit of free gold off of the Sylas, plus both parts of the Abscond Abduct. You get, I think it's 4 seconds off your passive for each dash that comes by. So both counts as a 4-second chunk off. So for a 20-second passive, losing 8 seconds on that, or rather refunding 8 seconds, is pretty big. So there aren't many dashes at all. It's literally just Aatrox plus the flashes from the side of ODU. So we'll have to see how it's going to go, as we got a little whoopsie in the Tramp Select. Someone picked the wrong champion. But I think another big thing to note for Radford is, especially before, when he was still building his tank build, Hecarim was seen a lot with enchanter supports. And Renata's not really the type of enchanter that you would see him with. You would see him with a Lulu, most usually a Yumi. To even some vague extent, you could even see him with a Soraka or a Seraphine.
Yep.
But there's no buffing really for this Hecarim, so it's going to be tough for him to stick long-term in these fights that he has to fight against long-range Annie, Lux, Misfortune. And that's just, outside of the Vex, there's not much reach for Radford in these extended fights.
Yeah, they have to rely on the Vex going in, the Hecarim going in, but that's going to create a lot of space between the carries and their quote-unquote front line, I guess, because Vex does want to dive into there. where it could be exploited by the Aatrox and the Volibear. And in these fights, in these late game fights, we got to look at the vision and also the potential for that massive Tibbers that can always come out and catch out a lot of these guys. So Annie, regardless if she's ahead or behind, I believe she should always be able to one-shot a Caitlyn and a Glass. So that could be 2 people off the map instantly in a fight, and that could sway the game easily.
Hey.
The Yasuo pickup. What is going on here?
He's just... Okay, they keep making whoopsies in Champ Select here.
Oh, I think I know what's happening. He's going for the bans. He's trying to ban all the champions at once, but then he ends up blocking in the Yasuo like an idiot.
Okay, yeah.
That's what's
gotta
going
be.
on. I'm pretty sure
Continuing on the champions, though, constantly punishing, or constantly pointing out on this Vex again, I think another big thing is it fits a similar mold, even though it's a little slower because you have to wait for 6. It fits a similar mold to what Icy was working with the Lissandra. It's a very mobile mid laner. Usually by that first lost chapter, you're able to EQW the wave and then walk away. Annie isn't going to have that same reliable shove. Granted, she is going to provide a little bit of punish for Vex trying to get the first move, given how her passive works and the free spellcasting that she can get with the Q, just a point and click stun. So it's going to be a little hard for Icy on Vex to get a first move, but it also is in his wheelhouse of really just wanting to keep pressure, keep moving with Lukey, who will be on a Hecarim, very mobile, very aggressive jungling this time around, especially compared to the Sejuani, even though it's a little less tanky. And I mean, again, top lane's back to another brawl fest and leaving them to their own devices with this Aatrox Mordekaiser duo.
And I'm just thinking that if you are ODU, you want to try and get into topside as fast as possible, because once that Mordekaiser hits level 6, he can always just get you into a 1v1. And even if you're getting ganked, it's still a 1v1 situation. So it's really hard to punish a Mordekaiser post 6. You want to try and get that beforehand, get some early ganks, get the Aatrox ahead, so that way when the Mordekaiser does have his ulti, it won't be an even fight between the Aatrox and the Mordekaiser. It'll be just like an absolute stomp, hopefully for Dish Raw. And hopefully we do get a game 3. I mean, I don't want to have this just kind of end in a 2-0. You know, I want to see ODU try and bounce back after their first loss and really show us what they're made of here.
Yeah, and I think with the FF early on, ODU is just zoned in for this game. They wanted to put that first game out of mind as much as they can, avoid as much tilt as they can. So I'm sure they're zoned in for this one. But I think we're going to go to a quick break as we get loaded into the game so that we don't keep wasting our time.
Yeah, a quick little break, and we'll see you guys here in a short while. Grab a drink and be ready for the game. welcome back, guys, to game number 2. This is Radford versus ODU. Radford red side, ODU blue, and we have already some shenanigans happening from ODU. They swapped their top and jungle.
Yep, Basting is running up the Aatrox this time. He's got Ignite as well as the way that Unique had ran it before. Fishraw running on the Volibear in the meantime. There is a 1 TP, by the way. It is just on Unique, as there are 3 Ignites and a Cleanse on the side of ODU. Radford choosing to run 2 Ignites, a Cleanse, and a Teleport. So very similar spells. A lot of fighting going to be going on with these summoner spells, as it appears Luki and company have been spotted out trying to invade early on.
Yeah, just
But
some shenanigans. Just
yeah,
some early game shenanigans they're trying to go for. Unique is feeling himself though after last game. Look at him emoting.
yeah, Unique is rocking out. He's also trying to be as obnoxious as possible here towards Dishrock, trying to just stall out this early game as much as he can. Uh, but Ward is cleared. A little bit of extra gold given away to Basting this time here, as we're going to get the scoreboard oriented really quickly. As for all summoners and runes choices, rather, it's all basically typical across the board. A little bit of scrapping in the top lane, as we're going to usually see. And
Yeah,
actually,
Unique
Unique's going
not
to go down.
not respecting at all the Aatrox level 1 and gets taken out. That's 2 summoners burned for basting to be able to get that first blood. And Unique will be able to just teleport back onto the lane, but still, really good trade.
Yeah, Unique forced to flash alongside Basting, follow flashing there. I was not expecting them to keep scrapping that long, but I mean it's the set thing, same thing, right?
Yeah.
With Mordekaiser, you're usually just going to just want to fight as much as you can and just continue scrapping, because that isolated Q is going to do so much damage in these fights. So Unique really, though, not expecting the sweet spot damage from Basting, and it gives an isolated kill, which is a lot of XP and gold over to Basting.
Yeah, it is a lot of the, and we actually I want to talk about the a keystone choice for Icy. We were talking about potentially it being uh, first strike, but it is going to be just electrocute there, and
Hmm.
saw it both on proc there, and it's going to give him a little bit more early game prio, I think.
Yep, definitely going to help trade back into the Annie, who was probably and did end up taking Electrocute as well. Can't really think of other Annie rune choices that she would go right now.
Predator
Like,
maybe, but
yeah, maybe Predator, but it's also kind of weak.
yeah.
Maybe Comet or Airy, but they also don't really fully fit her kit that well. So who knows? It was really going to be anything with that champion. That's the fun of it, right? Like, Rex Happy knows his champion. I clearly don't.
Oh, but a good little trade in the bots. I mean, while we do see a scrap in the jungle river, and the ghost is gonna be popped, the flash and the full engage, but the Annie is there to try and secure, but it is gonna be Dish Raw taking it with the.
Again, um, just a lot of damage that I'm sure Lukey was not expecting from the Annie, especially along with the Electrocute. And in the meantime, too, in the bottom lane, Enigmatic Reverie lost their flash trying to get aggressive onto Sixer, who ended up not even having to burn any summoners. So uh, just a lot of being very summoner happy, I'd phrase it as, and just trigger happy to use their spells whenever they chose from both sides. But it's
Ow.
clearly worked out more in ODU's favor than in Radford's.
Really aggressive trades up in the top side, and they were looking for a potential lane gank, but they do spot out the Volibear with the wave there, so they know that he has recalled. Now Luki is hovering up here to try and help out Unique, but he is just getting absolutely smacked around by this Aatrox pick right now.
Yeah. Ooh,
Oh my god,
another
another
solo
solo
kill.
kill. Ignite dropped and the pullback was enough. I did not think that that was going to be enough to kill him, to be honest.
Yeah, the pullback into the sweet spot yet again. So far, Basting is showing why Aatrox is like 96% presence with a lot of chunking band or a lot of bands uh, going his way so far, and especially Unique just trying to pick a counter bully pick, and it's just not going well. And this is going to be a key going later into the game. Sure, you can pull away the Annie or the Aatrox later on, but being this behind, you're kind of at Aatrox's choice as to how the lane's going to go, and you're just not going to be really doing that well later on when it comes to duking out with other champions because you're just going to be so consistently behind this game.
And if I am Radford here, what I would want to see is a little bit more gank presence from the second room to maybe go down to the spot side and try and snowball a different side of the map, try and get them ahead. Because the top side, if you go in right now, I think that the Aatrox probably can 2v1.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, I mean,
Misty.
Basing is looking for another solo kill. If he had the cooldowns, he definitely could get it as
Ooh,
Sixer is forced back. The Shadow
off the
Surge.
recall, and that's going to be enough right there. Icy able to pick up the kill, but meanwhile, Dishraw is going to be trying to catch the Vex out, but he does not have six. Vex did get the reset. She is going back in. She gets a lot of damage down. He is almost half HP, but it's just not going to be quite enough. She doesn't have anything more. The MF is coming back from the base. You don't want to continue this. And they are going to give the rest over. Surprised they didn't try and go for a dragon here, but instead it's going to be Luki trying to get some mid lane priority.
Yeah. Once again, both between with the Shadow Surge, as we were saying before, this is Icy's type of champion, and he's going back mid.
Yeah, he gets the electrocute proc off on him. The Ignite is going to be dropped on the Annie, and that's going to be a kill picked up on the top. So we see another soul kill. Basting just having his way right now with Unique.
Yep. Again, that's just how this top lane is going to go. Unique can't fight back, and with Bastion having the serrated Dirk first over the Vamp Scepter, that's just that much more damage because you're avoiding a good chunk of armor. So, thanks to that lethality, that's going. And ooh,
Wow.
I speaking of Dirks, I am happy to see this. Luki is most likely building Hecarim the way a lot of Hecarim players are saying to build him now. Right now, they're saying to go a lethality item or to go Stride Breaker as opposed to the usual Sheen items.
Mhm.
Um, and because there's no tanks, he's not going to go Sunderer, which is smart because Sunderer is a gutted item
Yep.
that has been put put out to pasture, but everyone keeps building it. So I'm interested in which lethality item he's going to be going here.
Could go for the Eclipse as well. He could even go for Dustblade, I guess. Dustblade wouldn't sound too
Hmm.
bad on Hecarim.
Yeah,
But
usually those are the two.
one thing I do want to say though, and I'm happy to see, is that Unique did not cheap out, and he did decide to go for uh, the pickup of the anti heal so early.
Yeah, we'll get to check in as he's bought it around 7 minutes. We'll get to see now and then how much healing it will have reduced, but that's been a fun time lately. And I think you were right. I think Luki is going towards this Eclipse first, as we're getting a lot of components in the backs. Frogs, once again, has gone for a Dirk as well. A lot of Dirks on the Rift this game is a fight going bot lane.
Yeah, the fight is going to be going through. The ulti is going to be enough to be able to pick up Sixer, and that's going to be going down. Meanwhile, Frog is going to be having to burn that flash escape, but in the mid lane, we are going to be seeing the Vex get the ulti off onto the Volibear. Volibear does get the Unstoppable to be able to stop it, but it is Unique going to be able to pick it up. He does ult the Annie instead, and he is under tower. He isn't
Ooh,
going to be, oh, not quite. The too much tower damage. The buff towers do quite a bit of work onto Unique, and it could have been a little bit better. I think if he ulted the Volibear there, he might have been able to pick him up. But either way, it is just going to be a 1-for-1 trade across the map. MF ulting to just clear the wave there.
Rex happy playing with a bit of fire there as well. Just able to clear the wave out and survive. In the meantime, that's that much more gold and minion XP over to Basting, who's gotten 2 plates now alongside a 30 CS lead. On the other side, Unique is 0-4, but down in the bot lane, it was pretty cool to see. because of the hostile takeover, the ultimate from Renata, that forced Frogs and Sixer very far apart and even hit Sixer, which kept Sixer in the fight for long enough that very, very ill could just keep poking him down and pressuring him until the ace in the hole was there. And Frogs was not in a position to block that one from Sixer's Lux. So, really well played by the two in the bottom lane for Radford here as they're trying to soften this 2,000 gold lead from ODU's side.
But ODU does not want to slow down. They are pressuring right now. Unique off of the turret. They're going to try and get this first turret gifted over to Basting. He's already doing a good job, but a little bit of a misposition on the Herald. He ended up taking a little bit of that wave, but they will crash in the end, and it will be first turret over to ODU.
11-11 is our first tower. That's pretty crazy given all the money to Basting as well.
Oh,
Unique's just not having a good time up top lane at all.
I will say I did like the play that he tried to go for in the mid lane, just a little bit of a misplay at the end of it. But being able to try and go for these proactive plays, even if you're behind, it is what you want to try and do. You can't just sit back and farm because you're already behind. You need to try and get somewheres ahead. But in the mid lane, it does look like we are going to be seeing a solo kill. IC does pick him up, but oh my god, the damage is disgusting. Basting is able to get onto a rampage. Another kill now in his pocket.
Ooh, 36 healing reduced in the last 4-ish minutes for the the Oblivion Orb, but a good solo kill from Icy in the meantime as well. Little things being picked up here for the side of Radford, but still, I think the biggest thing too for Radford is that Icy picked up
Oh,
the gold difference
ooh.
here, or rather the minion difference. Excuse me. He was down about 20 for a good bit of time, but has completely evened it on up. And because of the 3 kills, that's amounted to a 600 gold lead for him in the mid lane. Bot lane is even. It just happens that this gold gap is purely in the jungle and top lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big, big difference right now, and it's going to be a mountain that they're going to have to try and climb out of. But we'll see if they are able to try and accumulate. I mean, if they can get Icy into some of these fights and get some picks before the fight happens, there is a good chance they can try and win these fights. But it looks like Rex Happy is going to be going for a potential catch onto Unique. Unique is just getting bullied out, but she misses the stun. She doesn't go for the point and click. Instead, she misclicked the W first and ended up using that as a stun, and a little bit of misposition on the Q as well
Ah.
there. But the fear is going to be good, and this should be just wait everything else. Ignite dropped on the bear,
Well,
but the Tibbers just cannot go into the Delph realm. This is a bit of a misplay. And now oh my goodness, the W was not available, and Rex Happy is able to pick up a solo kill onto Unique. I feel bad for this man.
yeah, that is the fun of it. Only one allowed in the death realm, and that is reserved for Annie. No bears allowed. But Lukey trying to get something back, and he's bound.
Yeah, the ghost was popped. He still wants to try and go for something, but at that point, you just got to give up and try maybe get something else across the map. And Basting just whacking away at these plates. The man is Jeff Bezos rich right now.
Yeah, he is massive and going to just keep getting a lot of pressure going, generating a lot of money for himself as well, trying to push this lead that much more because you can see Unique has Oblivion Orb and like yard sale components, whereas Basting is rocking Eclipse, finished boots, and a Caulfield's hammer. So a lot of money put into this Aatrox, and because of that, we've already got objective bounties as soon as 14-minute pops.
Yeah. And that is going to be something that they want to try and capitalize on. There is a lot of sitting gold for Radford. They have a lot of towers available ready for them to take, but that's going to be something that they have to pressure towards, and it's hard right now for them. Again, the wallets of ODU are massive, and they need to try and get some type of pick. And I need to see IC to be the one to kind of be the catalyst for them.
Yeah, Icy is also going to be going for Ludens, so definitely going to help be that catalyst, like you were saying. A lot of Vexes that we've seen, what few Vexes rather, we've seen in pro play are more in favor of the much safer route with an Everfrost.
Mm.
But Instead, he's going Ludens to try and, like you said, facilitate being that burst, being that aggressive play. I actually think that's the newest Renata skin. I'm not fully sure, but it looks
Yeah,
cool.
looks
The blue wave has been really cool to see so
yeah,
far.
it looks awesome. I mean, I'm a glass player myself. I like to see my champions get some skins.
Hmm.
The only champion that I play that doesn't have much skin love is Ornn. But it does look like
Yeah,
the Vex is going
poor
to be going
Orn.
in. He does get the ulti and the fear off. And the Ignite is dropped. He's going very aggressive onto the Aatrox. Aatrox just pops his own ulti. Just has to flash, but the flash responds, and that's going to him taking him down. The headshot is going to land onto Basing, but I don't think anybody can do anything about this. Meanwhile, the trap does land onto Dish Raw, and he's going to have to run out. The TP is going through. The Mordekaiser ulti does go through. Surely he can
Oh
kill him.
no.
Surely he can kill him in the Death Realm. The Renata Glass ult goes through, but it doesn't hit anybody worthwhile. And the shutdown finally goes. Unique picks
Mm.
it up. And this could be and should be mid tower going on the side of Radford. And the Hailing reduced 175. It hasn't been very worthwhile. The two
Oof.
man bear, good flash from Variel, but the Lux ult is clean. It does get up the Mordekaiser, and the bailout did go through, but not quite enough. Rex Happy picks up Lukey.
Massive bear. I believe that was a 3-man stun thanks to Tibbers helping on out there. Picking up 2 more kills onto Lukey and Unique, who just got his gold reset as well. Um, Icy was forced to burn his flash in his solo kill, which gave even more money over to that Aatrox. So that'll fund his Black Cleaver, interestingly enough.
It's
And good news, at least the Aatrox was shut down. Bad news, if there's any, is that that money went to Unique and not someone like very, very ill, where it would have done a lot of good to get this Caitlyn pumping to be even with Frogs, who has a 50 gold CS lead or 50 CS lead. Um, so not to say that it's like a bad thing that the Aatrox got shut down. It's just not where you want that money to
mm,
have been allocated.
100% agree with you on that point. And I mean, it's unfortunate. At least they picked it up. The downside is that it was almost like a calculated pickup. They're like, we're gonna donate the kill over to the Mordecai to reset his gold, and now we're gonna go and gift that gold to Rex Happy, so that way he can kind of snowball off of that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of PayPal action, I guess, going on.
Yeah.
Um, but Alternator in the pocket of Rex Happy as well as the Ludens, interestingly enough. So trying to burst or cut through what he was anticipating to be a lot of HP from Lukey, as well as a bit of HP from Unique. I think he could have also opted for a Ludens this game and been entirely fine to keep going. The side of OD or Radford is not as tanky as ODU's side, even though it really is just one champion in the Volley Bear, but
Yep.
that is still tanky enough that very, very ill is opting into a Kraken Slayer, and Unique once again is getting found in the solo lane.
I think this man has just got the brawl fever. He thinks he can win this. Does he have his W available? He does. He finally pops it, and he will be able to get the kill on
Oof.
their shutdown, gifted over to Luki. Now, that is somebody you do want to see get a shutdown.
Yeah, 100%. This Hecarim is going to be helping to be a carry presence with this build as well, going for the Eclipse. I'm intrigued that he chose to go Eclipse over Stridebreaker because just the way that that works with Hecarim's kit, it helps him stick in fights, which helps his W stay up, which helps just everything about him. And it lets him stick onto champions as well. So just
Oh,
a lot of help with that. But trying to bait out Lukey here in a
yeah.
death bush. Uh,
It's a Fnatic Death Brush, and
yeah.
they're just waiting for them to walk into this dragon because eventually they are going to have to come into the dragon and contest this. And it looks like it is going to be unique, but oh, not enough patience from Sixer. And they will spot out the fact that there were people waiting in that bush. And now we're going to be seeing them start out the dragon as consolation.
I think the biggest thing too is that Radford is just giving this, right? They are deciding we need to wait for more items. Currently, everyone is getting item gapped. You have Kraken Serrated Dirk versus Kraken Kerchis Shard, uh, Mythic, or rather Leandries, and Hextech Alternator versus just a Ludens. Um, even in the jungle, even though Dishraw is not massively ahead of Lukey, he is about to get a second item. Basting is an entire item ahead of Unique at this rate. So it's really, really hard for Radford to find any fight that they can take in this game that they can readily win. And it really feels like a 5v5 team fight is never going to be that.
No, unless the Renata gets a crazy ultimate where she's able to pick off the MF and get her to destroy her back line. That's the
Yeah,
or
the
the
only thing you
Aatrox.
can hope for is like turn the Aatrox against them or turn the MF against them.
Yep.
Or just, I feel Tibbers has to be affected by it, right?
Yeah, it does. It is. It is. Yes.
Okay. So
So
Tibber, you could turn Tibbers too. That'll
so
be fun.
that's the only way that the fight would break out is if she gets basically a 5-man Renata Glass Gold. There is still hope in their eyes, but it's
Surely that's not too hard, right?
no 5-man Renata Glass Gold if I'm one of the slowest moving ultimates. Just
Yeah.
copium, you know. But it is going to be an uphill battle. But Rex happy again, just sitting in these bushes, getting these picks off. Unique is going to take a lot of damage, but there is no stun quite yet. The pull isn't good, and probably better that he didn't land that pull because if he did, Rex happy probably was able to get that Tibbers off stun lock and potentially kill Unique for the 8th time this game.
Yeah.
So they are
I think
maybe looking
it's very
for
funny too with the Mordekaiser ults this game because of the lack of strength that this Mordekaiser has. It feels like anyone else, it's just like I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me type of deal.
yeah.
Because we've seen Rex Happy kill him once and almost kill him a second time if it wasn't for that massive W shield from Unique. And we've seen Basting kill him, or at least survive for a while, almost killing him. Unique had to kind of run away and then re-engage the fight once the Death Realm popped. But another fight coming in. Wow!
Yeah, that's a lot of damage on the Sixer. Nobody to block that headshot, and that combo was crazy. Now the reset ulti does go through. Now Renata's ult did miss, and she has to flash away. She takes a lot of damage from Baron, actually. Baron helping out. Blue Smoke's going to be good. Cleanse to stop the slow, but it's not going to be enough. The shutdown gifted over to the Hecarim. Lukey's going to keep going on to Rex Happy. Pushes back, but it's not going to be enough to try and catch him. Or is it? The fear is not going to land. The kill coming over to Rex Happy. Rex Happy flashing, assuming that there was a lot of damage going to be coming through, and the Shaw there to just dissuade them from going any further. That was a messy fight, but overall, still a pretty good trade for Radshaw. And ICA is going to be going down. It looks like a lot of damage is going to be dropped onto him. The fear is going to go through, and Deshaw, not enough to try and finish off the kill, but he is trying to do something else here. Gets caught out. Think you should just back off into this 3v1, maybe.
Yep. Another gold shutdown goes over to Lukey. This time it was Frogs, even though Frogs only had like 200 gold or 150 gold or something like that. He did still have shutdown that was given to Lukey as very, very ill has finished a Stormrazor, an item that we don't really see. And Lukey is also going for Black Cleaver, which is an item that I really, really would not like him to not be going here because your only AD damage is Caitlyn. You have double AP solo laners plus Renata, who went mandate. There's just not a lot of AD damage coming in from your team to really capitalize on the Black Cleaver shred. Even though Hecarim's really good at applying that shred with the way his Q interacts, because you can auto Q auto really quickly, and that applies 5 of the 6 sacks. Even though you have that, it's just not enough AD damage, especially with this Caitlyn going something like Stormrazor second. There's just not being enough pumped out to really make this work.
Oh, but it looks like they are going to brawl again. The Vexal does land onto Styx again. This guy is getting cyber bullied by this Vex, but not quite enough to finish her off. Lukey does end up being able to secure that. The reset ulti is going to go through, but the Aatrox is massive. The ult doesn't go through. I'm not sure why Unique ulti there. The ulti actually saved Basting from getting hit by the Renata ulti, and now he pops out, but is he going to be able to get a pickup? No, that's a shutdown. Huge play from Radford showing signs of life. Deshaw is going ulting back in, an absolute mad life, and his whole team left him. Lukey's whole team left him, but they are able to pick up another kill onto him. Icy gets Dishaw, and that should be Dragon going over them. But that blast cone almost griefed that whole Dragon play.
Yeah, not waiting for Lukey could turn out bad. At least Tibbers is out and about. That means Rex Happy doesn't have that burst to help take down the Baron, or the
Oh,
Dragon
but
rather, but
Frogs
Icy will
gets
be
an
falling.
absolute kill. And that's going to be a lot of damage going down. The Dragon is gifted over, but Frogs is just picking up kill after kill here. And Unique surely is going to be going down here, you would assume. No flash on the Annie, but the range should be enough to pick it up. And that's just going to be the burn ticking down. Ace in the extended fight for ODU.
Yeah, they did manage to get the Dragon, which is also a gold bounty of 600 gold across all 5 teammates. Uh, and with that too, they do keep themselves on a 5-minute timer. They do not give that one away to uh, the side of ODU, who is very happy to show that they do play their champions and they are good at their champions. But with that being said, still the bounty or the gold is very much in favor of ODU. They are 6K up, or 7K up, excuse me, 5 towers, and now about to be 2,000 bonus up from this Baron. Should they get it, Lukey is looking to trade though.
The blast burn
Wow.
was really good, but the Renata ulti is going to be going through. The smite is going to go through, but it's going to be hitting a lot of people. The ulti is not going to be enough to be able to secure anything there. Volibear is going to be going on to Icy. Icy is bailed out, but not going to secure anything. The ulti does go through, but he's only ulted basting, and now he ends up going 1v1ing the Frogman, but he is going to be taken down. Double kill for that. Variel going down, and ladies and gentlemen, it for sure seems like we're going to be going to game 3 here.
Yeah, 10K gold lead here off that Baron and the ensuing fight. It doesn't really matter how the rest of this game is going to go because you have a super wave right away and that you can walk it on in. Enigmatic is going to bail himself out, but he's down to Rex Happy. The Annie pick working out fantastically, finishing out 8, 3, and 7, assuming that no one else dies to him, as basting should be splattered right away at the least. But never mind. 838 for the Annie. 614 as well for Frogs on an underrated pickup with this MF. And really showing what that MF was supposed to do in game 1. They did not get it rolling, though. And even though we keep talking about how this Caitlyn Renata is supposed to be this power pick lane, uh, this is a second game in a row that they've been bullied out in their own lane, and a second game in a row that they are just behind in gold and behind in minions.
So this is all I'm gonna say. We've had 2 games so far, and there's a trend, a very maybe not noticeable trend, but a trend that maybe if you can't pick Aatrox first pick, you might just have to ban him. Maybe.
Yeah, Aatrox definitely seems good to say the least right now. He's doing all right. So I don't know. Hopefully next game we'll get to either see Aatrox bans or another blue side first Aatrox pick.
Yeah, we're gonna go on a break here and get game 3 set up for you guys. So stay on here, but stay tuned and make sure to grab a drink while we're taking a break, get some snacks going, and we'll see you back here in a short while. welcome back to MEAC. Oh, did I butcher that? I think I butchered that, didn't I? MAEC. My name is Fluffy here. I'm here with my main man, uh, Cherish, and we're gonna be jumping into pick and ban real quick here. Powered by Game Gym and Events CC.
Got the whole spiel down. So, looking at the draft, a big key right now from Radford is no Yumi. Could that lend itself to banning an Aatrox instead, or does that mean we're gonna see? Okay, sorry, my bad. Yumi got banned.
Yeah,
So,
Yumi got banned. But
sorry for saying anything.
No, it's all good. The Aatrox should be banned from ODU. We saw how much of a problem it can be on whoever's the one picking it. Now, I do want to note that Basting is still opting for the top lane right now from the lobby, so we should be seeing Basting still in the top lane. And now, I am curious, maybe he didn't have confidence in Dish Raw in that 1v1 scenario with the Aatrox. Maybe he himself believes that he can do a good job against that. So maybe they just leave the Aatrox open and ready for that first pick, but we'll see here if they choose to round. No, they don't. They go for an Akali ban, and Aatrox is first picked.
Yeah, that's just how it's gonna go. That's pretty obvious. Yumi keeps getting banned as well, by the way, as I just noticed and did a quick search, because Sixer has a 60% win rate in 110 games unranked on Yumi. So. Quite the Yumi player here, as not going to get to see the light of day in this draft, as Sejuani is picked up, and fun times as we keep early picking what seems to be Darius for an Aatrox counter. A lot of Aatrox counters right now has been Jax, where you try and just go even in lane and then just beat him in the side lane because you're sticky and you do so much damage. Other times we have seen Fiora because she's sticky and you do so much damage. There's a kind of a trend here. I'm sure Irelia would come out because, again, guess what? She's sticky and does a lot of damage, but we're not going to see that. It's a Darius pick, which is very interesting to me.
Yeah, Darius is definitely again, if Set's number one, Darius is number two for 1v1 potential, especially level 1 with that bleed.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it could work out with the Aatrox with the pull. You can try and deny some of these vital procs. But I do want to point out that we did just see a Maokai and Renata pick up. Renata has been the only support we've seen enigmatic pick up this whole series. And he hasn't looked too bad on it, so I'm happy to see him still being able to lock it in here. And the Maokai pick, which is a very contested champion across worlds. Last game we didn't see it pick or banned. I'm happy to see it here again.
Yeah, no pick currently for ODU, which is a little goofy. We'll get to see if they want MF or what. But Kate,
Nami pick.
Nami early. Okay.
Okay.
So, Nami picked up for ODU, a champion that doesn't really get to see that much play anymore because her broken interaction with Lucian was removed. Now we'll see what they pair with that as the misfortune is taken away. That's kind of what I was expecting for the 5th ban from Radford, considering that Sejuani got through, Aatrox got through, Maokai got through. You're kind of just picking away at this point, and misfortune was such a stable part of both games for ODU and for Frogs that it's just got to go. So I'm interested what this pick will end up being to pair alongside the Nami. Most likely just going to be a Lucian because that duo is strong, and I'm wrong again. I'm just going to stop guessing because it's Kaisa.
Kaisa, Nami, very interesting lane. Doesn't have that much early game prio, and as we see here again, very, very ill. Very consistent bot lane pickups. It's going to be the Glass, Caitlyn, Shirley again. But yeah, the Kaisa Nami lane gets going past 6, but for the first early levels, I don't see them really getting much, and it is Caitlyn locked in for them. Icy is not going to get the Lysandra again. It was banned away. Same with Silas. So will he opt for the Vex again? There is a lot more dashes now. You do have Kaisa. You do have Sejuani.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is a blind, so the Vex is going to be quite the easy blind, rather comfortable blind, given that she doesn't lose a lot. This is also a nice blind pick that I like. Talia is still pretty strong right now, and she does perform a lot of zone control, which is going to be good into ODU because they are right now have a very hard time aggressing onto a very far backline, given the hostile takeover, given the Maokai ult, which I can't tell you the name of because we haven't seen Maokai for 5 years before this. But, you know, there's so much that
And
ODU has
Kassadin.
to push through, and their answer is Kassadin, interestingly enough.
Kassadin pick up there is a very interesting last pick. Sort of a soft counter to Talia just because you don't have that dash, so you can go over that work or that unraveled ground. But we'll see how it plays out. I mean, in early game, Kassadin's not really that strong. Usually people go fleet of footwork to try and sustain in those early levels, and then once you get 6, you become a champion, and at level 10, you become a very strong champion.
Yep, it is pretty good. So I'm interested in the rest of this draft as well. It's kind of a mid-game spiking team for ODU. Same with Radford, but it's a mid-game spiking team with very hard scaling mid laners. Talia is not going to scale as hard as Kassadin, but the difference is, the takeaway rather, is that Kassadin got hit a lot harder than Talia did in the durability update, given that Talia came out with the durability update in mind. So Kassadin's not insane right now, and his 16 isn't the, oh god, Kassadin hit 16 moment that it used to be, but it still is, hey, watch out, this guy is going to blink every half a second and still do a chunk of damage. But, it's going to be interesting to see how they pilot, because outside of the top lane, all these lanes for Radford are just losing. I mean, Kassadin is going to get shoved in and pressured out heavy by Talia pre-6. Kaisa Nami is not going to do very well with Caitlyn Renata unless the Nami's playing out of their minds. So it's going to be hopefully for Radford, given how very, very ill hasn't been the super lane dominant Caitlyn that we usually see. Hoping for them that they do end up doing some work in this bot lane with a weaker, shorter range ADC like Kaisa.
Shorter range ADC, and also Nami not having that much range either could definitely be hard punished. The jungle matchup as well, the Maokai Sejuani, I mean, we've seen this so many times at Worlds, but usually goes in the favor of the Maokai. I do like to see that, and like you said, the only matchup I see that ODU has winning right now is the Darius versus Aatrox, because Darius can have a very effective 1v1 against this Aatrox pretty much all the way until late game if he can get snowballing ahead. So I'm looking to see maybe Maokai pressuring that top side and making sure that Darius doesn't just run over the game. We did see how well Basting did on the Aatrox. I would argue more dominant than Unique was on the Aatrox. So maybe he's going to just try and go for a lot of these skill check matchups.
Yep. I think it'll be very interesting to see, just because Unique does have to play a little bit slower in this lane than he did in the first lane against Dishra's set, given how, it's really up to Basting in this lane again to set the tone and set the tempo. And I just, it's going to be tough because, like we keep saying, Darius is such an early game presence and such a strong pressure into Aatrox, who can't really deal with champions when they get in his face. And Darius likes to do that as well. So a lot of damage could come Unique's way if he does misplay this lane. But I'm looking forward to getting to see, yet again, a lot of status quo and chill in the mid and bot lanes, and a very scrap-heavy top lane.
I agree with you. It's going to be an absolute banger of game 3, final game. But we are going to head to a quick break to get into this match. And like I said, grab some water, grab some snacks. It's going to be an absolute banger for game 3. See you soon. And welcome back to game number 3, final game between Radford and ODU. Radford blue side, ODU red side, and we're already seeing some level 1 shenanigans. A stack in the bottom tri-bush.
Yeah, little invade check here for the side of Radford, getting ready for anything that could come the way of them. In fact, they're going to get aggressive with it here, trying to find any pick that they can. Frogs is going to spot it on out, though, very early on. That aggression is dissuaded, as looking around the map and around the rift seems like pretty standard rune setup for everyone. This time around, very ill is opting for fleet footwork instead of lethal tempo that he has run both games, whereas Frogs is actually running lethal on Kaisa. And
Oh.
here's the Darius thing.
Yep, Darius level 1 pops the ghost, forces the flash out of Unique, and already the bleed stack has dropped him, going to drop him below half HP. And level 1 not going the way of Unique already. This is not what you want to see, especially when you first picked this Aatrox. One thing I do want to mention about rune choices is Kassadin opted to go for Electrocute rather than the Fleet. So that means that his early sustain isn't going to be as good as it could be.
Yeah. And on the opposite side in the mid lane, First Strike, as I almost called it Fleet Strike for some reason.
Fleet strike.
First Strike is opted into for Icy, so he's going to get a lot of money off that. Usually we do see that on Talia anyway, but just because that boulder off First Strike getting a bonus 10%, 12%
Oh no.
damage is so much. But basting, oof.
He might. There is no flash available for basting or ghost, so he can't continue the aggression. But a lot of early trading in this top lane, and it's not going in the way of Unique again.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how we expected it again, but I'm sure Basting hit level 2 and tried to flash apprehend, or in fact did, and Unique was just able to get on out of it. So uh, currently, Basting has no summoners and is going to be a heavy priority for Luki, I'm sure. But at least Dishraw, once again, pathing up to the top side, is going to prioritize trying to get some help for this Darius, who is summonerless. But at least, no, he's not going back. Okay, I thought he was resetting to go back. Unique is, though. And something I noticed once again, there is one teleport, and this time it's on Rex Happy. Very, very ill, actually, has opted for his third different summoner choice in 3 games. He's going for Exhaust this time around.
Oh my goodness, the stolen
Aw.
skull crap with just the tree smash there. And very interesting. I mean, not sure why his Dish Raw Smite was down. I think he used it for red buff instead of saving it for the scuttle there, and he's punished for it. I mean, Luki didn't even have to smite it. He just slammed his fist on the ground and called it a day.
Yeah, that is really just as easy as it was. I've just noticed, by the way, Unique did come back with just boots because he's down 50 or 5 at 221 in CS here. So a little bit of a tough time in the top lane, although that has only amounted to about a 200 gold lead. So not the end of the world here. That is going to be evened out by the mid lane lead that Icy's going to have between the first strike and his CS. But so far, it seems
Oh,
like Rex Happy is pretty content with what they've been doing.
ooh.
Actually, will get stunned up, but
Ugh.
Lukey is not able to get in.
Unfortunately, not enough there for Luki to get the twisted advance onto Cassidon, but it is perfectly fine and really well trade over to Icy. Icy performing on these control mages, definitely something to look forward to later down the road. How he can perform on maybe something other than a control mage, but so far
Mhm.
with this type of style, it really suits him.
Yeah, another roaming mage as well, 3 in 3 games. Another very easy, just shove and forget type of lane for Icy, which has been pretty much his strength so far. Is now Frog's getting punished in the bot lane again. Now this time you don't have the MF who can really hit back against the Caitlyn. You have a Kaisa Nami, so you're a bit lane deficient comparatively to the lane dominant that Caitlyn and Renata will be. So it'll be a tough time down there for
Nice
the
upper hand.
side of
Ghost
Radford.
is popped on base thing. He is going to be chasing down Unique. Unique dashes and decides to be an alcove gamer for a hot second. He is burning down the Ghost quite a bit. And the slow does come through. And surely this should be a first kill. But no, Luki is there. He goes back into the alcove. He's actually playing this very
Ooh,
well. Luki is able to toss a sapling, gets a twisted advance. He goes in, and that's going to be a kill picked up. First blood for Luki. Not exactly the guy you want to give it to, but at least it's first blood nonetheless, punishing that early Darius pick.
yeah. A counter gank in the bot side though to try and even it up is coming on in here.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
nice flash, but the trap was really good. He's still able to get that Arctic Assault onto Ignimatic, and he will go down. Frogs is gifted that kill, and it's just a trade, like you said, in the opposite side. But Flash
Yeah.
has been burned by Dish Raw. That's the key thing. He had to burn Flash there, and he might look for a potential gank again in the bot side.
Yeah, the double flash being down for very, very ill and enigmatic reverie. They will be a key target for the Sidwani, given that all they'll have really is the bailout and then trying to get a kill. And Caitlyn Renata isn't going to have the most damage together. But um, on the reverse side, too, Rex Happy did burn their teleport going up top lane, also opting into just Sork shoes first. So very interesting with that one, as could be
Oh,
solo killed here. Icy will no.
no! No! Oh, the
Oh
misclick onto the
no,
minion. It's
Icy.
an absolute disaster. He had it. He had the outplay, but just couldn't quite finish it off. Rex Happy is definitely happy that he was able to get a recall rather than the quote unquote fast recall.
Yeah. Well, oh, that's the pro con of the attack move, right? Is you can push or you can pressure in there, but if you don't have toggle champions on auto, you will not be able to get that kill because of prioritize or prioritizing minions closest to your cursor. So unfortunate for Icy, but still a lot of lane control and a good bit of pressure going forward for them.
Ooh, Enigmatic is becoming a bit too aggressive. She does get the bubble on there, and the cleanse does go through, and that's going to be a pickup there. The bailout does go through, and unfortunately, Sixer decided that they wanted to put a little bit extra damage and pick up the kill while the bailout was taking over.
Yeah. So the Kaisa also has a serrated
Oh,
Dirk as we've got a party in the top lane now.
yeah, three-man gank going on to Unique. Unique pops out the M flash already. He's gonna go on to Basting. Basting is already pretty low. Oh my
Wow.
god, the combo was clean. He's able to
What?
pick up one in that whole trade. Rex Happy does have his ulti, and for surely Unique goes down here. He could get another Q off, and he
Okay.
does, but not enough to be able to get the kill. Meanwhile, Maokai pops ulti, twist advances onto the Sejuani, able to toss a sapling, trying to get slow, but the slow goes onto Dishraw instead. Rex Happy is already pretty low. No flash for him. He does get shoved, but not into the rocks, and he is ulting, trying to escape, gets a slow, but he does end up going down. Icy slays Rex Happy in that extended fight.
Fantastically played by Unique there, able to not only get the solo kill onto Basting, as we have now also all figured out that even if he, as long as he's as long as he triggers the animation before getting CC'd, Aatrox's Qs will go through things like Glacial Prison. So
Yep.
that's news to me because I thought that was a fantastic glacial prison from Dishra to stop Unique from killing off Basting, but it ended up not working out. Basting did fall, so good on Unique to try and get some money back for themselves. In the meantime, Rex Happy fell as well, but they did pick up the kill onto Unique, which is the biggest thing because getting this Aatrox ahead or this Cassidin further in this game is pretty key here.
You don't want to try. You want to try and get the Cassian ahead as fast as possible, get that scaling on lock, and also shut down the Aatrox before he starts snowballing the game again. I am surprised again that they didn't pan the Aatrox for the side of ODU. But again, I think it's because Basing just feels himself just the same way he's feeling himself right now with this Ghost. He does have his ulti up and available. He surely will go for it, and that's going to be an easy solo kill for Basting onto Unique. And meanwhile, the
So,
map kind of quiets out. It is just going to be them farming up a storm. Nothing crazy, no trades happening at the moment. And we are going to be seeing maybe some shenanigans happen in the bot lane. And this is going to
oh,
be an absolute trade and easy pickup. Meanwhile, the ult is
oh,
going to go through. A simple pickup onto Frogs. The Ignite is ticking through. Very, very ill. Surely can maybe pick this up with a couple more autos and a Q. Not enough in the tank. And it is going to be a 1-for-0, but still Dragon control over the side of Radford.
yeah, very, very ill. Took a little bit of time there to prep the ace in the hole, which let Frogs get out of the ultimate there. So really good Renata ult though, able to catch Frogs even after the supercharge. So that caught Frogs out and forced them. Actually, didn't force any summoners. Cleanse was already down for a bit, just now coming up, and the flash was still left over. So, so far, Frogs is keeping ahead and able to keep this lead chugging so far, going into, I believe, should be the Kraken Slayer along with the Collector. A lot of times lately, actually, a lot of people have been advocating more for an on-hit Kaisa build where you go like Wits
Mm,
End second. That
yep.
gets you Q and W evolve, and then you just go into AP. But uh, like I think the build was like Kraken, Wits End, Nashers, Zanya's,
Yep.
um, and that would do very well in this game as well. There's even though it's just really Talia that is doing the most of it, there are three AP sources between Renata, uh, Talia, and Maokai. So it would do pretty well as actually the Maokai is going for demonic. So hopefully Frogs changes something up and does go into a wit's end, which would benefit him to try and just stick alive and survive just that bit more when they're inevitably dove on or diving into the team.
Yeah, I mean, ooh, is spacing gonna stop the recall? No, they're trying to maybe look for a dive there, but nothing's gonna come out of it. Meanwhile, it is
Wow.
gonna be the Radon Glass ult gonna go through. And oh
Whoa.
my god, Froggy decides to go right into it and start attacking his fellow support, and it is just gonna be a turret plate and a kill there in the bot lane, but overall, really well played, very, very ill, and Enigmatic are both doing a phenomenal job of staying in and putting a lot of pressure.
Ooh, both plates go just to Lukey there. I don't know if you noticed the plus 320. So Icy gets none of that, which is very interesting. And in the bot lane, Frogs forced their flash into Sixer, or trying to get over to Sixer, who also got caught trying to help out from the hostile takeover. So a great placed hostile takeover from Enigmatic yet again. Uh, she's doing very well so far in these 3 games on the Renata, particularly with the placements of these hostile takeovers. But that being said, that should even out the gold in the bottom lane. It at least evens out the CS lead. And speaking of CS leads, Rex Happy has completely evened out theirs onto Icy,
Ooh, good trade.
or from Icy rather.
Nothing much else to be seen here. Maybe he goes for another, but he messes up the ulti, and now he's on top by Lukia, and that's going to be Luki just taking him out. A little bit too aggressive.
Looked a little silly. Twisted advancing just before the flash, so it looked like Lukey just twisted advanced on the spot. Cute little dodge as well from Unique. So the early game pressure from this ODU team is starting to falter in the face of good play from the side of Radford. They're working around the map very well. Lukey is looking very tuned on this Maokai compared
Oh,
to how Basting did earlier, as now Enigmatic is caught yet again.
but a great Renata ulti to try and save herself, but it is going to be enough. I don't think so. She bails herself out, but it's not going to be enough. The Nami wave comes through, and that's going to be the Arctic
Oh,
prison onto Very Ill. Very Ill is able to flash out and survive, but the Talia wall is clean, gets him under turret range, and now Frogs is going to be going down. Dishraw is going to be going down too. It's just Sixer alive, and that is a very, very good collapse from Radford.
that was very well done by Lukey. Lukey did the like one of the few little Maokai techs, as I'll get back to that in a sec. Oh,
Ghost being popped and flashing, and oh my god, Basing just asserting his dominance.
that's just basing knowing limits, I think, at that point, because I don't think either of us were expecting the half health execute.
I'm not sure if
So,
that's even allowed.
hmm. But yeah, as I was saying, the small little thing that Maokai players can do to exert their mechanical prowess is you twist it advance, and instead of immediately queuing, you walk like 2 steps forward. And while they're
Mm.
rooted for those like 2 quick steps, you get the knockback backwards as you cast your Q forwards. So you don't cast it towards whatever champion you've rooted. You cast it kind of away from them, and it'll knock them backwards from you. And because of that, that knockback forced Frogs to get stunned by Icy's leftover rock field, which really helped secure the kill between the damage and the stun. It was a lot more than Frogs was, I'm sure, expecting there. And it really helped out big in that bot lane fight.
Yeah, really good Maokai mechanics. That's something I would usually say
Yeah,
myself.
what few there are, I guess.
Yeah, it's like the praising some Nautilus mechanics, like, oh yeah, the guy queued, nice. But it does look like they're going to be going for maybe a 5-man dive down here. They got to be careful. ODU, not sure if they know what's going on. I don't think they sniff it out. I think they're very relaxed right now, but the Renata Glass ult is going to go through. It's going to hit Sixer and also Frogs. Frogs is not cleansed out of it. He's going to get rooted up, taken down, and it's going to be gifted over to Very, Very Ill. And that's nobody going down. Very clean dive overall. Harold is dropped on the top side, though, to try and answer this play.
Yeah, so far looking good yet again for Radford. A clean bot lane dive going on this time. They were a little iffy game one. Or no, I think actually, I forgot, very, very ill and enigmatic were on the receiving end of the dive, but now
Yeah.
Basting is on the receiving end of a lot of pressure.
I'm not sure if you needed to ult
Oof.
there as an Aatrox, but he just wanted to make sure he got secure. And Icy able to pick up his second kill of the game, 2-0-5 on Talia. They're doing a very good job.
Yeah, so good news there. Even though it's a 150 bounty, 450 gold is more than 300 for Icy. So gonna help push them towards that Archangel staff. As a crown was finished up for Rex Happy. That is an item that we've seen a lot from uh, Cassidy players since the Mythic update, since Crown got introduced, rather, because it just it doesn't you don't lose that much HP or AP as compared to Everfrost, which he was going before. Plus, you get that bonus like pseudo tankiness for a second or
Oh,
two.
Icy getting a
As
nice
bot lane
wall.
is the pressure
Mixer
again.
is going to be going down. It seems the root is going to be clean. The knockback away, but it doesn't matter. Very, very ill is now unstoppable.
Very, very ill is looking very, very strong this time around. I think we're going to get another fight before I can even make that comment.
Yeah, enigmatic. She's getting caught out. Not able to pop her ulti before she goes down. Basting has the ghost popped. He has the reset. He's going to be able to keep going on to this fight. Nice little shutdown for
Uh
him.
oh.
Luki is definitely next up on the docket. He is going to be able to easily die this. And now that's going
Uh
to be
oh.
3 kills. Quickly answered. Basting is able to just monster onto these fights. A turret was answered on the top side, but it's going to be most likely 2 turrets for them. Not
Oh.
able to get the upper hand. And that should be the end of this fight.
The end of things, Basting just got like 17 or 1800 gold. He got 100 or 110 from the tower and 1500 from the kills to Luki and very, very ill. So uh, that is a lot of money in the pocket of the Darius. And as you can see, he's able to finish a second item over Unique alongside components for his third item, which will be that oh, I know it's the MR item that makes you run fast. The more you
Force
get
of
hit,
nature?
I can't force of nature.
Force of
I
nature.
finally it's thank you.
It's
I
all
just
good, brother.
I just couldn't remember it for a second. But on items though, I think a problem point here is very very ill has opted for a hex drinker.
Mm,
Uh, little not sure what that is because there's a lot of damage coming in that'll just eat through the hex drinker anyway.
yep.
And without finishing it into maw, you're only going to be dodging. I believe we just moused over and saw 150 health or something.
Yeah.
So cool. You're yeah 150 magic damage shield. So cool. You're blocking one Cassid E or like one Cassid in rank 3Q or something like that, right? Like it's just not that much that you're blocking. And because of that, going into these later dragon fights where you want to pressure the dragon control, you're stunting your build because you don't have uh, fire cannon coming up. And I believe without that X drinker, they'd at least be both components, if not already at hex drinker. Uh
Yeah.
oh. Oh no. That is an uh oh.
Yeah, that is a no. It looks like Rex Happy's going to get caught out. The shove is not going to be enough. And a lot of damage taken, but not a lot gained. Bot lane control for them, 36 seconds on Dragon. There could be a potential fight there. No TP for both top laners, though, so it's going to be still a nice late 1v1. Dish Raw, not sure what he's doing here so far up. Teleport is going to come through for Rex Happy. He is going to be fully HP'd up there. A nice heal from Nami. He does go over the wall. Luke is going to be able to get the slow, and the sapling is going to be able to do a lot of work. But Dish Raw is now way too low to try and join this fight, and that could be Dragon. But look at this into the river. It's basting already rotated over, so it is going to be a numbers disadvantage for Redford, and they're going to be the ODU is actually the one starting up this Dragon.
Yeah, they do have the numbers advantage as Unique is just now crossing the Barren Pit. They know exactly where they are. And now Luki has Nature's Grasp still on up. Ice or Glacial Prison dodged out, Basting pressured away at this point, but the wave on the return will catch Luki. Luki can't really do much as the Aatrox is nowhere to be seen. Very, very ill will fall. 3 down. Oh, it's a disaster.
Yeah, not a great fight for them to pick up there. It was kind of a bit unfortunate that they were positioned that way. Unique is trying to get something done, but he does not have enough juice in the tank to finish off anything there. Pretty well played though by ODU.
Yeah, fantastically played on that collapse just to like continue pressuring off the engage. No hostile takeover there, and as immobile as Talia and Caitlyn are together, especially with this being a Kraken Slayer Caitlyn, it is necessary kind of with the items that or rather the champions on the side of ODU, but um you're not as mobile as you could be with a Gale Force, and you're not as safe as you could be with a Gale Force. So
Yep.
it is going to be taking a bit for very very ill to a bit of skill for very very ill to survive in these later fights as
And you know
things are
it's true
coming
because it
on up
rhymes.
here. And I mean, finishing items, it does seem like in parts uh, ODU is ahead, like in top lane, but otherwise, Radford is still pretty in the lead despite this gold advantage.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Wow,
I just realized how
12.
much. Yeah, it's quite a bit of gold actually for them. But Sixer is going to be getting caught out. The wave is or the ulti is going to be come through. Very very ill picks it up. You know, Unique's just in the middle of this fight. There's nobody on him just quite yet. But Rex Happy's finally going to get on there and going to be going on a killing spree, basting in the middle of this fight. Going to get the upper hand onto Lukey. He's going to try and find this ulti onto him. He's going to get very low, but it is going to be a shutdown. Lukey gets bailed out. It's enough for them. The stun goes through, and this fight turned
Wow.
very, very quickly in the favor of Radford. ODU overstepped the fight, and Enigmatic, phenomenal bailout onto Lukey to be able to stall it out long enough to get this team fight win.
Yeah, it's a huge pickup from very, very ill as well. Two shutdowns onto Rex Happy and Basting for the double kill. A good lot of money in the pocket there. Looking to finish this Maw and try and get chugging towards a Infinity Edge, which will be massive to continuing this game with. But in the meantime, I think Icy also picked one up there, which is a big pickup as well, trying to get the Talia on board a bit more as the Zanyas is finished with the alternator kept in pocket. I mean, off that fight, I believe Radford was down about 3K gold just before I started
Yep.
talking, and now they're only 500 down. So a huge swing for them coming out of that fight with those shutdowns.
And to be honest, most of the gold lead that ODU has is on this Darius. So if they're able to get this Darius out of the fight, the gold lead disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Maokai does have a part of it. And oh my god, Sixer just getting caught out over and over again. Icy able to get that shove back into the overturned rocks, and they are going to be starting up the Baron. There's no vision on it, so it is just going to be gifted over, it looks like.
Yeah, Icy, between all three of these games, even in the loss, Icy has been fantastic at moving around the map, controlling a lot of the map and roaming around, really making the game
Oh.
theirs. And even here comes the Weaver's Wall.
Yeah, he's trying to catch out Froggy, or Frogs, but he's not sure if he sees that there's other people here. Now Cassian finally shows up. He is gonna have to prop the stopwatch, but for sure he's gonna be going down here. He's gonna be traded over though. And nice root onto the Renato Glass Cult is gonna be clean, and the
Wow.
Caitlyn is just pelting away. Frogs is gonna be forced to use that ulti to try and disengage, but Basing has finally arrived. Aatrox in the flank though. He is gonna be going in. Basting is taking a lot of damage from this Caitlyn. It looks like the Kraken Slayer is paying dividends. The Blascon's going to be used. The dash is going to be used from Unique to try and escape. Sixer is there. She's going to be able to get that bubble off. Maybe not quite yet. They're just going to disengage and run away. And overall, a pretty good fight. Only lost one member for 3. 1 for 3 is always a trade I think I'm going to take. And Dragon's coming up in 18 seconds.
Yeah, it is a little problematic that like the one little like caveat to that, right, is that Icy had, I believe, 4 or 500 gold bounty that went over to Rex Happy. I think no, it went over Frogs. Excuse me, Frogs
Yeah.
got the collector kill, so that'll allow Frogs to finish up the Phantom Dancer, which is exactly what this Kaisa needs. Just a bit more oomph in the little AD it provides, but also the attack speed bonus that allows Supercharge to turn her invisible or at least camouflage, whichever one it is at this point. They've done so many invis
Invisible.
changes that I don't know their code names for anything anymore. But regardless of that, uh, it's pretty big for Radford because that swings a dragon. This puts them on soul point, even though it's Cloud Soul, and it's good looks all around for them. As looking at items, I just noticed very ill. I think attended a yard sale because he just has pieces and two completed items.
Yeah, I think that Hex Tech, what was it called? Hex Drinker? Hex Drinker.
Yes.
Uh, how much damage has he reduced on that? Can you hover over that real quick?
Oh, it doesn't say.
It doesn't say. Oh, I thought I,
I wish it
173.
did.
I wish it did, but I don't know how good it's been. I don't think I've seen him. I don't think I've seen it been
Mm.
popped yet, to be honest. Because either gets one shot
Yeah.
before it can even be activated, or it's
He,
just
he takes so much damage that it's just gone.
yeah, exactly. So like it's just you either see him take too much damage or you see him take zero damage at all in a fight. So I'm not sure if
Yeah.
it's been I think that might have been a bit of an oopsie, a bit overestimating the Cassidin's damage. But
Hmm.
overall, I mean, really well played right now by Radford. They're able to control this game so far, but Basing is gonna be the one that I want to keep an eye on because he is gonna be the one that's hopefully gonna bring this back for ODU and make this a bit more competitive. He has been already getting these 1v1 kills in isolation, and he might be able to pick up another one here if Unique oversteps.
Yep. Hopefully, trying to find unique here.
He does have
Oh.
Ghost. He does pop it. He has been going for the slow. He gets a spin off the pull, apprehend. He is going to go for a little bit more.
Ooh.
Ghost is still ticking,
Ooh.
but the flash and the dash away, the ult's going to go through.
Oh.
That's way too much damage. Basting, another solo kill for him. Unique's just got to understand that when it comes to the dares, you can't be walking up like that.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh,
that was a lot of true damage. Granted, that's 5 stacks, so it does do true damage at that point of hemorrhage, or sorry, 5 stacks of hemorrhage. I'll have to get to that later.
Oh, Icy's a little bit caught out here again. He does pop the stopwatch, able to dodge out that damage from the ulti. The Renata ult is going to land onto Dish Raw, but he isn't in range to attack anybody else, and it's just going to be that. But Basting is just sprinting into this fight. It is going to be a numbers disadvantage for them. The Maokai ulti is going to be good. It's going to land onto three people, but Basting into the middle of all members. He's able to get the apprehend. The Sun lands onto Icy. They're not able to get much. They do get the pushback, and very ill does have the attack speed buff. He is able to pick up one kill onto Rex Happy, but it's still just a 1 for 4 in an extended trade technically because Unique was down, and they're right back into the game.
Yeah, and right back into the gold lead at that 2K ahead now off a couple of shutdowns. Um, a bit of aggressive movement from Lukey and Icy spelled Icy's doom for sure. They tried to go forward to sneak through the blue side jungle, and it ended up not working out very well for them. But this is net 2 towers for ODU off this one fight, and it's fantastic for them to continue this gold lead because that 2K gold lead off the fight has turned into 3,500 off the 2 tower takes, and
I
just
just
this goes further than that even. Now you have 2 or 3 Nexus towers left up, or sorry, 3 inhibitor towers are the only ones left up for Radford. This gives a lot of vision pressure over to ODU because now they have really the threat to get vision on these Drakes and Baron because they still have towers outside of their inhibitors. So they have that extra line of defense. Whereas any lost fight here, any
oh
weak, like bad fight around Vision,
Rex
can net
is
ODU a win.
yeah, Rex is a bit out of position here. The whole squad of Radford is right here in this bot lane, and I don't think he realizes it. He just walked into Unique, but he is level 15, almost 16. He is going to be able to just ult away. Gonna drop
Hmm.
his mana pool very low, but escape nonetheless. And I do want to point out that the Cassin is level 15. He's almost at that 16 mark with his ulti to become very problematic. And I want to also take a note to look at the goal difference between Darius and Aatrox right now because it is an absolute shellacking. Almost 5k gold, over 5k gold difference in just that lane alone. So that just goes to show how important this Darius is going to be in these fights. That if we just take him out, or if he's not in the fight, that gold lead is basically not there for ODU. He is the whole
Mm,
team basically.
yep, definitely is. And in the meantime, it's going to be a flip. It looks like. Looks like it'll be a Cloud Soul given for Baron
They're
take
not
here.
doing it
And
fast enough, I don't think.
oh no, I think they might actually, unless
Oh,
Icy can do something about it right
no.
now.
Yeah, they're able to secure it, but they want to go for an ensuing fight. The stun does land onto Icy. Frogs is going to be able to go on, but the stopwatch is clean. Sixer is on the other side of the wall. A lot of damage gone down, but look at this. Very, very ill. Like I said, either he gets blown up in the first second or he's still being able to pelt and he's still putting a lot
Hmm.
of damage. But on the backside, we
Wasting?
see Basting be able to be a menace. To flash away, the ult is going to be going through. Not sure that's ult you want to go for. He is going to be able to net backwards, and it is going to be a 4-for-1 trade and probably going to be the ace here. Very, very ill, trying to kite out as best as he can, but surely he's going to go down. Frogs is going to try and 1v1 him. Not exactly the person you want to do that with, but instead of chasing for kills, they are just going to go for the push. They do have the Baron. This could potentially be the end.
Yeah, and quite honestly, the item build gap is what's hitting right now, right? Uh,
Oh,
very very ill. Only just hit 60% crit, um, and only just got Lord Dominic's regards. Frogs has had Collector for a bit, had just got Lord Dominic's as well before this fight, so able to put a lot more damage out than very very
oh.
ill. But
Glass
another
Dot
fight coming
lands,
in.
and that is going to be a kill picked up. It is just an inhibitor that looks like because all of Radford is able to revive here, and the game is dead even. Meanwhile, Icy's trying to get a catch onto Sixer, and he is able to pick him up. He's trying to recall, but it is just not going to be enough. Enigmatic picks up her first kill here in this game.
Little gold reset onto the Renata 1-7-16. Doing well. The scoreline doesn't show the obviously how like zoning hostile takeovers, right? You're not going to get an assist for not hitting someone with a hostile takeover. So not going to be seeing that on the stat sheet for Enigmatic, but they've been doing very well with a lot of the placements of these ultimates. That placement on that one as well, matching against the Nature's Grasp in the last Baron fight was good. It just happens that once again, very, very ill's not pumping the same damage that Frogs was, as Frogs is working towards what should be an Infinity Edge. The fun thing with Kaisa is usually she's got 6 item syndrome, where you want so many items. You want GA so you can dive in effectively, but you want Infinity Edge plus 2 crit items. You want you want Collector, but you also want Lord Doms. You want Phantom Dancer. It's just there's
You want
too much that you
stopwatch.
want, and you don't have enough space for. So
Oh,
something always has to give, and usually it is that Guardian's Angel.
Unique is in
So
a bad of spot right now. He was
mhm.
not respecting the fact that they were able to go, but he gets a little umbral dash, able to go over the wall. Round glass golf
Ooh,
lands on nobody, but it's not. It's enough. They get the shutdown straight onto the Kaisa early on. Basing is able to get a big healing. He is trying to get those stacks on. He is going to be able to get the ulti on, but is it going to be enough? No, he is going to be taken down. Meanwhile, Rex Happy is already way
uh,
too low, and it is going to be them just all going down. Dishraw is the only one alive on ODU. That is a really good fight. Messy, but very good fight from Radford. Dishraw is not
mhm.
able, does not want to give up on this fight
Oh.
still. He is very tanky, but I think that's just going to be it. It's going to be just a trade of kills. Nothing else is going to be gained, even though uh, Radford is able to pick up. But overall, 4-for-1, 4-for-3.
Yeah, and again, it just comes down to the tower difference from before, right? ODU won one fight and were able to take an inhibitor off it, and now because of that, for the next couple of minutes, Radford's always going to be on the back foot. Granted, the only TP is Rex Happy, but it's going to take a lot for Radford and a lot of time and a lot of kills and all that to keep going in this game and to even things on up. So good news, at least Icy has finished their build. Rabadon's on is the cherry on top, whereas Rex Happy is on a third item. It looks like so. Another yard sale build over there. Got a needlessly large rod, a blighting jewel, and the Oblivion orb. All components for 3 different items. But uh, like you were saying before, all the money is on basting for ODU, and that is the one on their team who has all the items as well. Good news too is Dishraw has 4 items, and a lot of those are good items. The Anathema's chains gonna be placed onto most likely Icy because that's gonna be doing the most damage and also the most CC, and that's really good to keep disrupting this Radford team over the next couple of minutes.
And it's going to be very scary as well because you don't want to give up any of these upcoming buffs to either team. But Dishraw's going to be cut out, looks like. But meanwhile, on the other side, it is going to be Lukey getting caught out by Basting. Basting's a little bit in a bad spot, but he does have Ghost to get away. The shove is going to be good. He is getting absolutely bursted down. That was a little bit of poor positioning from him. Enigmatic,
Ooh,
she's going to pick up that kill. And now my previous
that
point
is
of you don't want to give up any buffs is considered moot because they should be able to pick up both here now pretty comfortably. But
that is
Lukey,
not at all what you want right before the Elder Dragon, but this isn't either actually.
yeah, a little bit of a trade fight, but oh my god, the Bale is clean, able to pick up both kills here. Rex happy is being taken down. Ignite, tick, tick, tick. Not enough to be able to take him out. Meanwhile, it's going to be Dishrod having to flash an Arctic Assault away. Icy says, get back over here. I'm not done with you. And is going to put down a little bit more damage and should be enough to be able to kill Icy on a killing spree. Elder going to be gifted over to them. And that should be also Baron maybe in their back pocket after this.
Sixers gotta look for a wave here, I believe, but just wishful thinking off this wave. Good on Radford as well to dip off this dragon just before the wave comes in. Don't want any accidents coming their way. So good kills all around. Huge that Lukey somehow survived that as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how he survives getting jumped by that, by a uh,
Six-sided
Kassadin and
Darius.
Sejuani with like no MR items. He's only got the MR off of Frost Up Fire Gauntlet, so um, not a lot of MR to speak of, and he survived from the Kassadin, which kind of just goes to show how behind this Kassadin is.
And
Off this Elder Dragon as well. Now the blue team of Radford can just strong arm the Baron at this point. They should reliably win any fight. As very, very ill finishes his last item. It's a Guardian Angel, which is a good pickup considering how much he's getting dove, even though he's going to be doing
yeah,
less damage. And like you said, double buffs, double end game buffs being put onto Radford's side here for the last minutes.
yeah, it's time to just Goon Squad, classic ARM, run it down mid. You know, this should be just them recalling here to get some more items and going for that death push down the mid lane. If they try to stop these waves, they should be able to just force a fight and go for, the brawl. Now, Basting as well. Again, I just want to take a note. He just sold his Dead Man's Plate to buy a stopwatch, so he is going to
And
have
that is good.
a little bit of that, craziness factor of not knowing what's going to happen. He hasn't gotten bursted out quite often in these fights. He's trying to survive a little bit longer. It looks like this tower is going to be going down. They're going to have to go for a Hail Mary fight under these Nexus towers to try and hope that they maybe can win.
Yeah, the good news at least is there's no super minion just yet. The bad news is you don't really have any reach to
Ooh.
get onto this cast or cannon minion.
Rex happy
And
going in a little bit too soon, but he does end up getting taken down. Meanwhile, Unique does go in. It's going to be Lukey with a double kill. It's going to be the Darius going down with a GA just popped, but it is not going to be enough. The death push from Radford is going to be too strong. Triple kill for Lukey on this
wow.
Maokai. And that's going to be game 3 over in a fact.
Well, that's an end game buff right there off the Baron and the Elder. The point I was going to make at the very end there was that with the Kassadin, Kaisa, Darius, you have no way to get onto that cannon minion unless Radford decides they want to give it to you. But I mean, you can also just go in and die, I guess.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's the option they went for.
your best bet there is fighting though. All jokes aside, not bad call on ODU's part because you can't wait out 2 minutes on Elder in your base while they have Baron and super minions coming in with that team. You're not gonna wave clear. You're not gonna out siege Talia Caitlyn, excuse me. So it was just gonna go that way the whole way. It felt like, but that game was incredibly back and forth, and I personally, off for that set of 3 games, I would not have predicted this ending given how game 1 went.
No, definitely not. Both games were very, like, first 2 games, should I say, when I talk about both games, were very one-sided for both teams. It didn't seem like that they were going to take off their pedal to metal. And this game was, I expected it to be a snowball stomp from either side, one way or another, but it was very back and forth. Like you said, a lot of team fights going in the way of ODU, and Radford just happened to be able to win a couple of more of those in the late game. MVP for the series, who would you give it to?
Ooh, MVP. I think the easiest for me is Icy. Icy really performed insanely well on the roaming mid picks and just enabling their teammates around the map and helping out everything around the map. So a lot of presence and a lot of pressure from the mid laner of Radford. But hopefully we can get an interview in here soon, I believe. Yeah, we are currently talking that one out. But if it's not for me, if it's not Icy, then it'd probably be Enigmatic, honestly. The Granada ults every game were just really on point and really well done for them. So just able to turn fights when it was needed, able to disengage or help break apart fights when it was needed. Just really good Renata play coming out from them.
Yeah, I mean, she got a lot of the picks, and she got the champion 3 games in a row. So comfort was definitely a factor for her there, and she had a phenomenal series on all 3 games, I would argue. But I agree, Icy, a lot of zone control. Even in the loss, performed very admirably, very well. Was that shining light for his team to try and maybe come back and make it a 2-0. Unfortunately, they lost that one, but able to bring it back with the Talia. And again, 3 control mage champions and 3 very lane dominant sets for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just really good control in the mid lane as well as around the map. So Icy performed fantastically here on the picks that they chose, and I mean I think like we both have been saying, excuse me, they've been pretty set on being the MVPs, but all told, I mean, that was just such a one, like, I mean, like you even said, we kind of expected that 3rd game to also be a full stomp and a full snowball, and we just didn't get that. So I'm very happy with how this set ended, because we very easily could have had, considering the way the other 2 games had went, we very easily could have had a 25-minute over at 12 type of game like we had with the first 2. And we ended up having a 45-minute barn burner. So that being said, I believe we are getting very, very ill on in right now, and they've joined on in. So hello, welcome on to the casting booth, and congrats on the win.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hard earned.
Yeah, hard earned indeed. So from myself, really fast, coming out of game 1, you guys just came out the gate swinging. What do you guys think contributed so well to your success in that first game that led to their surrender early on?
I think it was 2 things primarily. I think one, they kind of didn't expect us to pick our picks, like our Lissandra pick. I think they kind of slept on it, and they didn't expect some of our players to perform at that potential. And then the second part, I think our communication is just our communication is on point always, and we were really just rotating on time and everything.
Yeah. So, going into that second game though, off the surrender, kind of, were you guys, changed up mentally anyway, or was it just, business as usual? Because you don't really see surrenders in competitive games.
But yeah, no, we kind of that kind of inflated our ego a little bit. You know, we went into the second game a little over our shoulders, and then we got humbled. But we switched up our attitude for the third game, and we came out successful.
Yeah, that was quite hard earned, and like you said, and quite the burn burner. So, good job on that one. And lastly, I mean, going through this meta, what is what are some of your favorite things that you got to see today, and that you've been enjoying playing?
Like in the current meta.
Yeah.
I really like we've seen Aatrox a lot today. In all three games, there was an Aatrox there, and we've seen, you know, I picked Caitlyn too. So I think I really enjoy seeing the engages in our meta and the engagers. I think that contributed a lot because we had people to peel off of me and keep me safe. I was the AD carry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enigmatic had phenomenal bailouts there at the end, and one of the last fights that you guys had, I believe she was able to bail you out at the same time that the Kaisa killed you, but you both traded 1-for-1 on that one, so that was pretty clutch from her to be able to get that like last second.
Yeah, they definitely you know, I feel like they allowed us to just keep spam picking Renato, which was kind of like gave us the advantage. Renato is just insane right now, in my opinion. So I think that definitely helped us a lot.
Yeah, and they gave over Maokai too in the last draft, which was like a very big surprise to me. I mean, they gave both two very strong champions, Aatrox and Maokai. When I didn't see them ban it, I thought that for sure that they're going to go for a pick, but gifted it over, I guess. And how do you guys feel about that, getting two very strong champions right now in the meta, basically for free?
I mean, as soon as we saw that, as soon as we got the Aatrox and Maokai, I mean, we were exhilarated. We were like, well, this is insane. Like, I can't believe they just handed that over to us.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys did kind of just have the, I mean, for lack of a better phrase, I mean, like the Thanos level of drafts at that end last game. So, that being said, I got, like, the only question I got for you is any shout outs you have or any last thoughts you'd like to say?
I just want to give a big shout out to, you know, the entire Radford University as a whole. You know, we really, you know, we came a long way in the esports program, and I'm glad to be a part of it and be on this journey with them.
Sweet. Happy for you on your guys' win. Looking forward to how you guys play out the rest of the season as well. Once again, this has been very, very ill, the ADC from Radford. So congrats on your win, man, and good luck in the future.
Thank you. Y'all take care. Have a good one.
You too.
And that's going to be it for us, I believe, here on this caster desk. As always, I am Fluffy. This is Cherish. It's been a pleasure to witness these three bangers of a games with you guys. And do you have any closing remarks, Cherish?
No, ban Aatrox. That's all I got.
Aatrox. Yeah, first pick or ban Aatrox. That's
yeah.
I agree 100%. But either way, guys, you take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you guys on the next match.